You've probably seen this video before if you watch mainstream media. Almost all the news channels are reporting it the same way. This old man was a victim, but I want to break down this video to show you exactly the poor decisions this elderly man made and talk about why this is not being reported and why 57 of the police that were in this volunteer squad have resigned from the squad. They're no longer participating in disgust because 2 of their members were suspended. First, I'm going to play the video, the whole clip through, so you can see exactly what happened, and then I'm going to break it down for you. So stay tuned.
And we're going to show it to you, and you should be prepared because it's very difficult to watch as a man in his 70s is knocked down by officers.
He is bleeding out of his ear. He's bleeding out of his ear. Get him out of here. He's bleeding out of his ear. Get him medic. What? Help on me. I'm moving back. Grab him.
Back up. Get off the steps. Let's go. Get back.
As you can see there, before an officer moves in front of the camera, another protester is arrested. It's a reporter with the news outlet that recorded the incident who tells police to get an ambulance for the man. Buffalo's mayor says the 75-year-old is in serious but stable condition. He goes on to call the incident, quote, disheartening. New York's governor, Andrew Cuomo, calls what happened utterly disgraceful. 2 officers involved are now suspended and an internal police investigation.
Now, this is mistake number 1. This old timer decides that it might be a good idea to walk towards a tactical line of cops in riot gear. I'm not sure what was going on in his head. Maybe he was going to convince them that he was in charge of this demonstration and that he was going to be able to talk them out of it. All of those were a bad idea. Stand to the side, maybe. Wave the officers over. Anything other than going directly at a tactical line and presenting yourself as an obstacle and an aggressor and possible danger to the officers trying to break up this riot. This is mistake number 2. Aggressing towards a tactical line, then when he stops in front of the first officer, he turns to the right and taps the other officer on the arm with his phone 2 or 3 times. And it takes a second for the officer to react. But this is completely inappropriate and a very bad decision. And this is warrants the reaction not only from police officers, but any citizen. If somebody comes up and stops you and puts their hands on you, you can react exactly the same way this officer did. Watching again in slow motion, you can see once he stops in front of the other officer, he turns to the other one and tries to stop him, tapping him on the arm with his phone 2 or 3 times. And this is not an egregious assault, but it is unwanted touching. There's no reason for him to be touching a police officer or even any citizen. Any citizen that reacts at this point is justified. Maybe a citizen may have been able to act less aggressively than the police officer, but they have been telling this crowd to disperse for quite some time. Now they're moving in to physically remove this crowd, and this older gentleman stops in front of them and tries to stop them from moving forward. He could be arrested at that point. And it takes the officer a second to react after he taps him with the phone, but he does react and he pushes him out of the way. He responds to the aggression of this person by pushing him. So far, the only one violating anything at this point is the old man. He's acting in an aggressive manner, even though you might not see it as an aggressive act. He is approaching the officers and doing everything wrong. The only thing he's not doing is slinging his fist or trying to stab them or shoot them. But everything else indicates aggression. The primary reason this older gentleman is in the situation is his final mistake. What the heck is a 75-year-old man going up and being aggressive to a line of cops at a riot? What was he thinking? My mother is this guy's age. I can't imagine my mother getting tough and going up and trying to stop a line of cops during a riot. I can't even imagine that. So if I ever saw that, I would go yank my mom out of the way and go, Mom, what the heck are you trying to do? And if this was my grandpa, my father, I would have done the same thing. I would have said, Gramps, let's go. Pops, let's go. Get the hell out of here. You're asking for trouble. And that's exactly what he got. And I hate that the guy got injured. He probably had his heart in the right place, but he completely did it the wrong way. And the fact that nobody is seeing that because the media is painting a terrible picture of these aggressive, mean cops beating up an old man. If you watch the video and listen to my analysis, I don't think you can really argue with that. You could say something like maybe the cops could have been a little bit softer on the guy. I guess you could make that argument, but these guys are trained to do exactly what they did in this situation. Push people out of the way. If they don't want to go, you put them in handcuffs and let the folks behind the line pick them up. And that's exactly the thing that most people appear to have the biggest problem with, is knocking a guy on his ass and then walking by him as he lays there motionless. Well, that's what they're trained to do. There may be some difference in training depending on the agency, but that's what they're trained to do. Maintain the line. Don't get caught up in individuals. Let the people behind the line deal with the individuals. Snatch and grab, that's another tactic. They will pull people in behind the lines and let the guys behind the lines take them down and handcuff them. So the line is supposed to be maintained. A lot of confusion goes on with people that don't understand the tactics that police use, that are trained. They are trained to use these tactics. And the last thing you want to do if you want to be safe is walk up to a police line like this and try to tell them you're in charge. It's just not going to work. It's probably going to work out as bad or worse than this fella. He just happened to be an old man. If he was black, they would have called it racist attack. So that's my take on it. If you don't believe me, keep watching this video. Watch it a few times and you will understand that is an aggressive stance this guy's taken. Even though he wasn't wailing his hands, he was there to stop these guys from moving. And the cops are not going to let him do that. So keep watching it again if you don't believe me.